So, reestablishing a yard. We sold all the bees out of here last October, November, somewhere in there. And now that our yards are not going to be moved very often, we're going to start putting our pallets up on inexpensive landscape timbers. Get these pallets out of the dirt. Not only is it a little easier to work the colonies, just that extra 3 inches, whatever those things measure, makes it easier to work. It also makes the pallet last longer. Of course, if we were moving bees all the time like we used to, I wouldn't do this, but unless we sell this yard again, I don't expect these bees to move anytime soon. So we've got a truckload of Nucs, and they're screened, ready to transfer over into deep boxes. Brought all the equipment we need to get this job done. We're very close to the Chattooga River, the border between Georgia and South Carolina. It's extremely quiet out here. We were just all commenting on how quiet it is right here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. We got black locust trees blooming. See if I can get in on that tree over there. Yeah, they're blooming all over the place. Of course, the weather today, there's no nectar flow today. It's too dreary and cool. And it's supposed to be that way the rest of the day and tomorrow. Saturday it's going to warm up. Maybe we'll get a little nectar flow. What we're going to do, transfer 5-frame nuc into these boxes, fill it with foundation, and give them a 2-gallon bucket of thin syrup. The syrup is thinner than 1:1. It's probably about 1.25 water to 1 part sugar, I should say. And we'll get them to draw out this foundation. A 2-gallon bucket will turn this 5-frame nuc into probably 7 or 8 frames. And then we will probably at that time give them a second deep of foundation and put a 2-gallon bucket on them again. That's only going to be 10 days to 2 weeks. What's the date today? The 24th, 25th? Yeah. And we will keep that up until well into June. And these colonies will be strong, decent, drawn out, double deep colonies in time for the sourwood flow, which in this location happens around the 25th of June. And that's the strategy. We'll be doing that all over the place. This coming Saturday is our last day for selling Nucs at the store, and then we're going to change our mode of operation and start reestablishing Nucs that we've made for ourselves into bee yards. It's going to be Beeyard Repopulation, and we got a lot of it to do. We kind of surprised ourselves. This was just yesterday. I wanted to know how come I've got 600 Nuc boxes and we don't have any left at the shop. We got 100 left. I said, where are all our Nuc boxes? Somebody steal some of these things? And we put our heads together and looked at the book, and lo and behold, we've actually got that many Nucs out on the ground. Over the next 2 weeks, they'll be coming ready to transfer. Some of them were started with queens, some of them were started with cells. And so we're going to be busy creating colonies with these Nucs over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Jason's in the wood shop building frames like crazy. He's always surprised. I'll say, I need 1,000 frames by day after tomorrow. Get them done. And they do. We like black foundation, as you can see right there. We have yellow too, but as I get older, I appreciate the black because you can see the eggs and the larvae better. And the bees don't care. They do fine on black or yellow. It doesn't matter to them. So what we're going to have here is all brand new queens in these Nucs. And those 4 colonies over there that were left behind when we sold bees will get requeened also. And that way we'll know every colony in this yard has a 2025 queen. What happened, there was probably 40 colonies in this yard, and we sold all of them except for those 4. We sold the good ones, and the small ones just got left behind. That's how we do it. We sell the best ones and keep the not so good ones for ourselves. And they're okay, they just weren't good enough to sell. And we'll requeen those today. And then this whole yard will have new queens, and we'll keep track of that in our book. As we move forward through the season, we write in our book, I should say we, I say we, I should say Selena writes in the book which yards have been entirely requeened, and then we don't have to worry about that again. And I, as usual, hope to have every colony with a new queen before winter, and we generally get it done. Occasionally we'll get 90 or 95% and miss a few, but I'm thinking this year we can get it done. We're going to have a lot of queen mating nukes out in the field shortly. As soon as we start using up these nuke boxes into pallets, we'll have empty boxes that we can start making queen mating nukes. And then we'll use those for requeening the rest of the outfit. And after we cycle them once or twice, we'll leave sometime in July perhaps, or maybe early August, the last round of cells will get left for overwintered nukes. Every colony is going to get a 2-gallon bucket. So John, I'm going to go into those double-story colonies over there and break them down. I want to equalize. I want everything in this yard to be the same.
Oh, okay.
So those are going to get knocked down, and we'll boost the smaller. Some of these nukes will be a little smaller than others, and we can take extra brood out of those double deeps and boost the small ones so that the whole yard is the same.
Okay.
I'll do that chore. I'll get over there and find those queens and kill them. Okay. So some of these queens are already marked, and if they're not, we will find them and mark them. It'll never be easier to find them than right now. So they're good nukes for the most part.
Yeah.
That one looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a good one.
They'll grow really fast. If we just don't let them run out of food, we can have these as double deeps in June.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's she's doing this wrapping combo.
Has every frame got brood on it like that?
If this one does, then yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's going to grow really fast. The key is just don't let them run out of sugar syrup. Of course, if there's a nectar flow, you don't need that, but we'll have the syrup on them anyway because I want them to keep growing even on a day like today.
Right.
There'll be no nectar flow today, and there won't be tomorrow either. Tomorrow's supposed to be worse than today. So that's why that bucket of syrup is so important. Keep them growing. Don't let them run out.
Yeah, they shouldn't need a boost.
Selena, let me look at that for a minute.
I think this one will need a little boost.
It's a smaller one?
Yeah, it doesn't have
Okay.
a little boost.
I'll just leave the lid upside down.
Okay.
I'm about ready to put this camera down, and I'll go get you some brood out of one of them double deeps.
Okay.
We like everything to be the same. We don't always pull it off, but it makes it so much nicer if every colony's doing the same thing. And they'll get equalized later again when we come back in 2 weeks to check on them, see if they're ready for the next box and refill the bucket. At that time, we will equalize again, and they won't all be identical. One will be 8 frames, one will be 7, one will be 9, and we'll try to make them all the same. We do a tremendous amount of equalizing. I'd say almost every time we go into a bee yard, we're moving brood around, trying to make things the same. Makes management a lot easier. Okay. John, that one looks a little too full. I'm joking. That's a full box of bees right there.
Yes, it's yeah, they did all right. Yeah, they got some bees for sure. Sorry. That's some good brood for sure.
Trying to find the queen.
Yeah, see if she can mark.
You know, if you absolutely can't find her, don't get too worried about it.
Spend too much time on it.
Yeah. If you pour all of those bees and you get every bee in that box, she should be in there.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
But again, it'll never be any easier to find her and mark her than it is right now. Although I wouldn't necessarily call this easy. You got a bunch of bees on the wall.
Yeah, it's bunched up for sure.
This thing would have had swarm cells in it within 4 or 5 days. A lot of pollen in there.
A lot.
Makes the pattern look bad.
That's what it, yeah, it's just.
It's not a bad pattern, really. It's just all the pollen plugs in there.
Right. Yeah, but cool.
John and I ran across a colony. There she is right there.
Cool.
We ran across a nuke yesterday that looked like it was a laying worker because some of the brood was protruding out. But on closer inspection, she was so I guess desperate to lay eggs. She was laying eggs on top of bee bread.
Pollen.
It was crazy.
Yeah, right on top of the pollen.
Right on top of the pollen, yeah.
She was ready. Yeah, it did look funny, didn't it?
It did look funny, yeah. It kind of threw us for a minute.
Yeah.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Here we go. Is this green enough? Yeah.
Make it look good for the camera, John.
Say what?
Make it look good for the camera.
Okay, right. Here we go. Here we go. We know she's in there, so.
Yeah, she's in there.
Yep.
You got a small one there, huh?
Yeah, this we could definitely use.
Okay, I talked about this before. Some people say plastic is no good because the bees do this, but there's a reason. If you put in wax-coated plastic during a honey flow or a syrup flow, they'll draw it out just fine. The problem here is this foundation was in a colony for some time when there was no flow at all, and the bees stripped the wax off the foundation in that instance.
Okay.
And then it's just bare plastic, and that's what they do with bare plastic right there. They don't like drying it out nicely. So we just carve it off and give it back to them, and usually we can get it drawn out pretty nice. Ideally, we'd take that thing back to the shop and coat it with wax, but we're not going to do that in this instance. I think we're going to get, now it has wax on it. Yeah, I can feel it from what you just did. Yeah, so I can feel the wax now from just you scraping, so they'll work on that. That's one of those that just made it a queen, isn't it?
Yes, there was a sale on on April 4th.
Queen cell on 4/4. So that's just 20 days ago. You can see these bees are generally Caucasian. You can just tell by the color.
She is going.
Where is she?
Oh no, there's eggs.
Oh, eggs, okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really.
Okay. When you're done with this, leave the lid upside down.
Yep.
And
so
don't feed it, and then we'll
Okay.
boost it with some brood from them colonies over there.
All right. Yeah, she's doing fine. She's doing really good.
The other thing that's really satisfying is when you have a whole yard of brand new queens. I like that feeling too.
Right.
And this is one problem with Caucasian queens. They're definitely harder to find if they're not marked. As I get older and my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, I appreciate the lighter colored queens when it comes to finding them.
I never miss queens. We all miss queens. It's hard not to miss queens when you said they're dark.
Yeah. Oh man.
They did.
There she is right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, she looks good, John.
Yeah, she's doing really good too.
That's what our Caucasian queens look like right there. Very typical. That's
She does.
I like the light blue. The dark blue is kind of hard to spot.
Yeah, the light blue sticks out really well.
I got asked at the last video, somebody made a comment and asked, do you save your burr comb? And I responded, no, we don't. And it could pay off if we took the trouble to just scrape it in a bucket or something, but I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll do that, start keeping track of it. Okay, so we have two different types of queen cages here. This is a JZBZ. This is a California queen cage. I actually prefer the California queen cage, I guess because it's wood and it's metal screen, and if it gets thrown in the dirt accidentally, it'll decay and go away. These do not, or it takes a long time for these to go away. But the only thing about these is you got to be really careful when you put them down between the frames that the screen is exposed. I personally have, and plenty of other people have accidentally put the screen sideways against the comb, and then the bees in the colony have no access to the queen. So we're queening 3 colonies here, and this candy is pretty soft. I can get into it with my thumbnail pretty easy. So I'm going to cover it with a piece of masking tape, and I'm going to take a frame nail and poke a very small hole in it. You have to have the hole, or the bees in some cases don't realize there's candy on the other side. They need a taste of it. It'll take them about a day, maybe a day and a half, to get through this masking tape, so it buys you a little extra time with that soft candy. Now, yeah, and also back to this, you don't want to buy the expensive blue painter's tape. The bees don't chew through it well. You need the cheapest masking tape you can buy for this application. This candy is hard. I can't really, I can kind of get into it with my thumbnail, but not easily, so I don't need extra time with this candy. I'm not going to cover that with masking tape. And we do this a lot. It helps with the queen acceptance if she is in that cage for at least a couple days before they get her out. Sometimes candy is so soft that they get her out within 8 hours, and that's problematic. That's where you start getting low take. So this is the shipper that the California cages came in. This was completely full yesterday. We used almost all of them. This particular round of queens came from Alvarez honeybees in California. We bought a bunch of Golden West queens from him. We got some more coming in 2 weeks. We're going to start experimenting with these Golden West queens. Of course, that's the Randy Oliver line. We just got a lot of fun little casual research things going on in our own outfit this summer. And people, if somebody was watching our videos, they'd think, doesn't this guy ever settle on one thing and stick with it? And yeah, we do. Some people think we run nothing but single-story colonies, and if you watch another video, you might think we run nothing but double deeps. And I think in the bee business, you have to be flexible and be able to go with the flow and what's working in the moment. So we're always flexing, we're always changing. Like a few years ago, I sold 950 colonies. Well, suddenly I needed to make a whole bunch of nukes, and I sacrificed a lot of spring honey to do it, to get our numbers back up. This year, we're not trying to go that much. We're probably only going to build about 300 or 400 colonies, so it's a different thing. And you also got to go with the weather. That's another part of the art of beekeeping, is being flexible with the weather. If we have nothing but rainy, cloudy days for the next 4 weeks, that's really going to affect our management and how our bees go into summer and sourwood and winter and everything else. If we have a great spring, that'll affect it. And the most successful beekeepers, not that I count myself as one of them, but we do okay. But the most successful beekeepers make decisions on a daily basis. They're not set in stone. Their methods aren't concrete. They're willing to be flexible with the conditions and Mother Nature, and what opportunities come for bee sales or honey production, just whatever. I think it's important to be flexible. So that's a roundabout way of talking about why we're playing with these other bees. I'm always open to new ideas, and the most exciting bee to me right now is to play with Randy Oliver's Golden West line and perhaps mix it with our Caucasians, see what we can come up with. Who knows, a year from now I might be talking about running nothing but Golden West, or nothing but crosses, or nothing but Caucasian. We're going to have fun just playing around and seeing what we like. Did that sound cryptic enough, Selena?
Yeah, that sounded good.
Okay, all good. They'll be nice colonies. We left 2 nukes with queen cells down there in the corner to mate. They can be backups later if they make it. Not every colony will stay perfect for the summer. It's nice to have a nuke or 2 in every yard for a backup if you need it. And then one of the nukes that was supposed to be transferred onto the pallet had queen cells in it, so we just left it in the nuke box. Odds of acceptance or odds of success are just a little bit better in that nuke box rather than a 10-frame box on the pallet. Anyway, all good. Be back in 2 weeks. One last check all the lids, make sure everything's right. Learned that a long time ago. When you think you're done, take one last look back. Be surprised how often you'll see some issue you overlooked.